Perficient recruiter did tell me that
Mm,
out of 1,000 plus applications, I stood
mm,
out. If I were just by myself, I would not have
mm,
worked on my resume modification. I would not
mm,
have rewritten my LinkedIn profile. Those two
mm,
were really helpful. You guys did that. And reaching out to the recruiters and the contacts, that was really
mm,
helpful.
mm,
Same person doing the same thing over and over again, you cannot expect
mm.
different results.
The following is a conversation with our client David Japol, who landed a senior director of engineering role. The interesting thing is that they had already landed a director level role with her help, and within the same week of them accepting that offer, they landed another interview with a senior director role. The recruiter loved their background so much so that they put him through multiple rounds of interviews within the same day with the CTO and the CPO. And by the next day, they had a senior director level offer with a much larger company and way better comp. To that, we say, when it rains, it pours. And so, staying ready in the market is the key.
There we go. All things sorted?
Yes, yep,
Okay.
everything is sorted. I joined there on Monday.
Oh,
Back,
nice.
I went to Kansas.
Oh, okay. And so is that where the role is?
Yeah, it's a Blue
Oh,
Cross Blue Shield of Kansas.
got it, got it. So Perficient was just the hiring arm of it.
No, Perficient. I did not accept Perficient offer. Remember, I
Oh,
told you. Perficient
so
gave me
there
the
was
offer.
a GHX that I remember.
No.
So maybe I'm a little out of touch with which one
Oh,
did you?
okay.
Yeah.
So I got Perficient offer.
Mm,
Okay, and after I think 8 or 9 interviews
mm,
since October,
yeah.
but I think during my eighth interview, an
Mm,
executive recruiter reached out to me via LinkedIn
mm,
for this Blue Cross Blue Shield of Kansas.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that executive recruiter reached out to me and I said, I have this offer coming in. So
Mm,
if you can make it happen within the next 2 weeks of
mm,
whatever interviews you want me to go through, maybe I can try. It was from Corn Ferry. They did have interview the day after Christmas, the day before New Year.
mm,
It was a pretty interesting interviews, but
mm,
they liked it. And I said, okay, I've gone the same day I got an offer. I said, I got an offer.
mm,
I can probably wait until tomorrow evening if you guys
mm.
decide. They were able to put together an offer before the following day afternoon, and that was much better than what Perficient gave.
Oh,
Uh,
perfect, perfect. So then
I
that
just
worked.
accepted. Yeah, I just accepted that, and I spoke to this recruiter and told her,
Nice, nice, nice. So, and
yeah,
also, like, so this came at an interesting time. So, like, one of the busiest, not busiest,
yeah,
like one of the least busiest time of the year
yes,
when, like,
exactly.
nobody would expect an interview. That's so they must have pretty much really wanted you in order for them to
Yes,
accelerate that fast.
yeah. The first interview was with the CIO, the guy who's I'm going to be working with and reporting to.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then there was a CD, Chief Digital Officer. Then there was a
Hmm.
CTO. So I think
And
it worked out in a way that without knowingly, I've just used
mhm.
all the words and key
Mhm.
phrases that they were looking for.
Oh, okay. And
So
perhaps like with your background working with
exactly,
LLMs, that was like super relevant to what they are
exactly.
looking. Yeah.
Yeah. Yelvens and the Humana both were
Oh man,
super.
you did a lot of like
Exactly.
major modernization effort that you were
Exactly.
doing and
Yep. So
perfect.
they wanted everything, somebody who has those experience. And after joining, they said they do organic
Mhm.
recruiting only within the
Yeah.
company. The first time they want to go outside,
Mhm.
and I was the one.
Perfect. And so what is the role title as?
It will be director of IT application development.
I
After
see.
I went there, only I
Mm.
realized that I'm the only IT director application.
I see.
So all of app development will be me. So it's
Like all
entire IT. Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. That's a very big scope as well.
That's a big scope. It's end to end, all from
Mhm.
sales through coding, through ID cards, enrollment, group setup, provider, portal, you name
Mhm.
it, CRM, customer service.
That's amazing. That's I can only imagine like that would keep you busy for next several years.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you excited?
Yes, I am. I am excited. I was there for a week and it
Mhm.
was good. It was good.
Eh,
And this came out
eh,
of nowhere.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you are in the market, when you are looking with
Yeah,
intent, you're like you're somewhere making ripples, you're getting
exactly.
caught in the radar. That's already good. To be honest, like this is one of my favorite conversations to be having. Like, you know what, we started something and like the
Oh
things
yeah.
turned out really well for you. That's amazing. And then you were also in the middle of doing your MBA
I am
while
doing
this
now.
was
Yeah. And this
do
company
you?
got excited when they heard about that. And
Oh,
the
that's nice.
CEO was very supportive. And
Nice.
I started using what I'm learning from here there already. I started showing the communication strategy and the operation strategy, marketing ideas.
There we go. There you go. So in this role, do you travel to Kansas every now and
I
then,
will
or?
be traveling at least once or twice a month for
Hmm.
the first 3 to 4 months, so that
Hmm.
I create that connection with my team.
Yeah,
After that, I'll be remote, maybe once a maybe 2 months.
even amazing. So like, you don't even have to move. You've got like
Yeah.
a great
They did
role.
ask me though,
Mhm.
do you want to move? I said no. For some reason, I felt confident. I had another offer. I said no, I'm not moving.
Mhm. Do you have that like in-state tuition since your kid is in college?
No,
Is
no, not that.
no?
It's a private college.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't matter. I don't want to move from
But
Austin.
yeah,
Yeah, summer, sun.
oh my God, Austin is an amazing city. To be honest, like if my wife wanted to move there, I would move there in an instant. But
Yeah, actually, I
isn't
moved
like,
to Austin just 1.5 years ago, and it's
oh,
in
okay.
Kansas. Yeah,
Yeah.
last week when I was in Kansas, it was in 28s and 29s.
Mhm.
Here it was 70s and 80s.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. I wanted to also hear your thoughts about like, so you experienced our service for quite some time. You made a lot of applications. I
Oh yeah.
was looking at your Notion portal, like there's around 140 of those, right? Got some interviews along the way. I wanted to understand like your experience, both good and bad. How was your experience working with her service? What are some of the things that you observed? Like just wanted to catch up on your perspective.
Yeah, I think initially you understood exactly my role, but
Mhm.
then if you look at it, it's 140 I applied, and then there were another 80 or 90, I think. You'll see total 230-ish.
Mhm. Yeah.
So some of the roles were not fit, not relevant.
Mhm.
I think if you can somehow find a way to avoid that, I think
Mhm.
the way to avoid that is if I connect with
Mhm.
Ishita or Kiran and
Mhm.
over, know exactly what I'm looking for. Maybe that bonding was missing. Not
I
to
see.
blame you guys, but I
No,
was
no,
also
no, of
busy.
course.
I
Yeah.
was busy with my work, so it
Mhm.
became
Yeah.
repetitive
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
applying. But Perficient Recruiter did tell me that
Mhm.
out of 1,000+ applications, I stood
Mhm.
out because
Mhm.
I sent her email.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
She did mention that I sent her email,
Mhm.
I think, and also LinkedIn. So she
Mhm.
said, she thought, okay, let me talk to you. And she
Got
really
it.
liked the moment she spoke. That's the thing, that initial conversation
Mhm.
is what the started. So not many
Yeah.
people
Yeah. Yeah.
came forward with.
And so, and they mentioned like 1,000 applicants on that role.
Yeah, yeah.
My God,
Through
that's
LinkedIn, it was
intense.
250 plus and all other places. And now what happened after I declined the offer, they reopened the role.
Yeah, I saw. And that's why, though, I believe we reached out to you regarding one another client
Yes.
who was
Yes.
perhaps interested in that offer, but then the location ended up not working for them. But that's great. But like you felt that, and I'm taking it as like a very constructively. So
Yeah,
you felt that like, hey, if there was more synergy between the team and
exactly.
you, they could have picked up more
Exactly.
so as to make the process more efficient, more targeted. That's
Yeah. Yeah. That's
got
what
it.
I'm thinking.
Any other observation that you had?
That one thing. And that's all. Nothing else I would say. Man, it was 8 months, right? And we started
Mhm.
in this happened in
Yeah, yeah, it
8 months.
would have been 8 months.
Yeah. Because if I were just by myself, I would not have
Mhm.
worked on my resume modification. I would not
Mhm.
have rewritten my LinkedIn profile. Those two
Mhm.
were really helpful. You guys did that. And reaching out to the recruiters and the contacts, that was really
Mhm.
helpful. Actually, I
Got
made
it.
quite a few connections. And see now, the moment after 6 months I update, I'm going to be next level very soon because of the
Mhm.
hope that I have.
Mhm.
And I'm positive that I'm going to be the successor. So once
Mhm.
I have that, because
Mhm.
he's always looking for next. So once that happened, automatically people will start. Now I have connections with a lot of executive recruiters because
Mhm.
of this Conferry connection. So
Yeah,
it worked out really well. So that's a really good idea about
nice.
that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
To kind of get rolling, start reaching out to hiring
Yep.
managers, recruiters,
Yeah.
basically like
Yeah.
kind of you build that grip into the market. Also, you are also in a niche space. So you're kind of like in the healthcare sector for some
Mhm.
reason is picking up this year,
Yeah.
which we noticed. So lots of hiring going on. And then to be honest, like anything on the development side is much more priced compared to any other, like just like the maintenance stuff that is
Yeah.
going on. And so yours was like, and it, to be honest, like the biggest thing that I noticed in yours was often because you had a product management as well as
Yeah.
software engineering, like
Yeah.
intersection of both.
Yeah.
Both of those areas are notoriously bad for the amount of competition. And my fear was like, if we mess this up, there's like this very easy, like slippery slope going down because product roles we have been trying, like those are one of the tougher one to crack
Yeah.
just because like people are so specific about it.
Yes.
So, and I was like, okay, if we can help David find like some software engineering style role, that would be a good feat. And so I was very happy that like, hey, you were getting a few interviews along those lines.
Yep.
So that's already good. But also like this Conferry connection worked out. So that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah. And the interviews are, I don't know, these employees will have to change. They just want exactly what they're looking for. Be
Yeah,
hard. They have to take chances. I don't know why these people.
that I do not know. I keep saying, I keep putting this message out, like, because a lot of times we work with job seekers who, and somebody for at your level, it would be typical for them to be in that role for five,
Yeah.
6, 8 years. And so when they come out to the market and then they're, and I'm telling them these ideas like, hey, you gotta be very specific. They're like, no, I think I can make my chances. I'm like, yes, you can, but I'm sorry, you're gonna like the market's gonna tell you differently. I don't know why, but either they get to be super picky, but the whole idea about like, here, can we niche it out as precisely
Okay.
as possible? So that was the thing. So it was like you're already coming from a very large environment going into a very large environment at an exec level. And so, of course, naturally, the process also took long. And this is something like I always want to hear from like somebody who has been through that process. What message would you have for someone who is, let's say, in the middle of the process, and they're like trying to figure out like, hey, would this work out for me or not?
I'll tell you, definitely. Glad you asked me that question. I
Mm.
would like to even write it up. I want to write it up because I've probably have had, I would think at least 400 interviews in 2 years. So each company had at least 10 interviews. So I've had
Yeah,
so much
yeah,
interviews. I'm 100% sure and confident that I did really well in Perficient and this because I would
I
say
see.
the best I did.
Mm,
So we shouldn't give up,
mm,
persistent,
that,
okay, and we should have that positive mindset and take learnings from each and every interview. And we should never lose patience. I learned in every interview, I can say. Even in
mhm.
professional interviews, I learned. Even in this, the one I got, I learned. So if you have that mindset, only then you will make a progress. And it's going to take time. It's definitely going to, especially
Yeah.
in my level and upward roles, it's going to take time because they are looking for that exact fit.
So, and this is where I'm glad you mentioned that. One of the things, and this is why, like one of the things internally, and I feel like, and this is something that is typical. So there's two things that I'm trying to unpack here. One, when the thing that you shared, like more bonding, this was something like at the time when we onboarded you, like lately, like people who we are offboarding, our clients
Mhm.
that we are offboarding right now, they will all say that, hey, the bonding could be better. And now in the past 3 months, like ever since I traveled to India again just to train the team, I feel like so this was already put in practice. So like right now the bonding is going on pretty well in terms of like, hey, constant communication with the customers. But in that, why I'm saying that is like because like had we been able to connect with you more, we somewhere down the line this communication must should have made it to you where internally we celebrated having
Mhm.
you as our
Yeah,
client
yeah,
because you're sitting here after 8 months of that grueling process with a smile on your face, of course.
yeah,
But this was pretty much the mindset you maintained throughout the process. Like David, roles are posted, you like, yes, I have applied and super
yeah.
prompt, super all of that, which is a problem we struggled with, to be honest. Like it's a problem we continue to struggle with in terms of like what happens
Yeah.
after a dry spell comes. There
Yeah.
are no interviews, something like that. And we know that like, hey, if we persist long enough, we'll get that.
Okay.
So my question to you is like, was that something that you cultivated along the way? or was that something you walked into the situation like, hey, it may happen that, is that who you are as a person or who you became as a person in this?
Actually, it is who I am as a person because I
I
would
see.
like to take chances, and that's why I've even joined the LLM. I left almost $150,000 on the table at Humana or RSUs. I just
Yeah.
forget about it. I can earn
Mm,
that later. That's how I moved to Anthem. But
mm,
Anthem was 5 years behind Humana. I was doing something which I did 10 years ago. So no one to blame. It's me. I took chance.
mm,
So I started taking another
mm,
again chance. And
mm,
I am a positive approach person. I wanted to be positive. And like I said, I started learning from each interviews.
mm.
It was like a more
That-
practice. Even it was at home, so my kids and my wife used to listen to my interviews. My son was surprised. Oh, wow, Dad, you're getting really better. The way after a certain number of months, it was
mm,
not them handling me,
mm.
it was me handling them. So
Yeah.
it's the other way
Yeah.
around. It is always a good skill to build. The
Mm,
storytelling gotten better.
mm.
Even if they don't get a job immediately, they'll definitely will come out as a better person from each interview. That's my belief, and I believed, and I stayed positive, and I got.
That's good. Do you think this would help like other job seekers if we put more
Yes,
messaging like this out?
yes, definitely it will help. Ask them to persistence, and you have to
Mm,
keep their confidence high and chin up. You
mm.
shouldn't. If you don't get a job, doesn't mean that they are bad. It's just they just picked a different person. That's about it. We shouldn't
Yeah.
feel bad and just look for the next opportunity. And but definitely they will have to think what they did not do well, and they need to fix.
Yeah.
If they do the same thing, it's like insanity. Same person doing the same thing over and over again. You cannot expect
Mm.
different results.
Yeah.
That's something
That's
I'm really passionate about. Not only here in anywhere, even at work. And
that's amazing. So
yeah,
for you, the biggest thing would be like, hey, if we can improve the more connectedness with our customers, that would be so.
yes,
So the reason why I asked this and kind of like I'm getting a little obsessive about it is like I want to put out a service that is like 10 on 10, absolute best. Like want my clients to become the raving fans. And this is where I feel like, hey, I should have, and I should do that still, is like stay in touch more or like
yes.
get in touch more. Now that our client load is increasing, like there's lots of fires in the back end that consume most of my day. But I feel
The-
like, so right now we onboarded like quite a few like customer success managers who just build the relationship with the client, understand like address it quickly, all of that. But yeah, I do wish that systems could be more
And
robust.
ask people to respond to your thing quickly. That's I did. That really helped.
Mhm.
The moment you post, they have to apply the same day. And you have to get that
That
commitment from them.
Yeah, that is a really good piece
Yeah.
of feedback. Another success story that happened like last week told us the exact same thing. The time to
Yes.
application is of importance, and the
Yeah.
way we are thinking of mitigating that. Because there are some people, so you are like an amazing
Yeah.
person, right?
Yeah. A
So
little.
we post the role, you apply to it. There are some on the other end of the spectrum where we have to kind of drag them. And that kind of conversation, I sometimes feel like does not help. We're like, hey, we are in it for your success. So you should be
Exactly.
the one proactive. Nevertheless, they're like, hey, we just signed up for the services. We want it done. So right now we're thinking of like, hey, if applications are something that make it harder for someone, we can take care of the application of managing your inbox is something, and that is simple to implement it
Yeah.
right away as well.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And also, if any feedback or something, ask them to give immediately. So that's why
Yeah.
if you look at, I usually move roles
Mhm.
down. Okay, this is not mine. And then I'll
Yeah.
give feedback to Ishita. Ishita, this is not the type of role I look for, and the salary is low, blah, blah, blah.
That is one thing that we are trying very aggressively to catch up on the weekly calls as well. Like sometimes, like people find it easier to say it, but yes, the feedback part, I 100% agree. And so, how did you celebrate this role?
Celebrate, that's why I went to India. I took a 7 days
Mm,
off, actually 8 days off.
mm,
Between my classes, MBA classes, I flew
yeah,
and came back. And that was celebrations, visited my parents. And then I had to
nice.
fly to Kansas, then
Mm,
went back to college and just
mm,
came to Austin yesterday. So
mm.
after a
Oh,
month of traveling, that's why I could not
nice.
connect with you.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Then and that's great. Because you went to India after quite some time, right?
Yes, after 2 or 3 years.
Three
After
years.
3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah, but this
that's
journey has been 2 years. Since the day two I joined Anthem, I started trying. in 23.
Okay.
But it was
Mm.
random. I was just applying here and there through LinkedIn.
Mm.
Not many calls, but very rarely call. But only after you guys, I joined you guys, I applied a
Mm.
lot of applications. But that was good.
Yeah, I guess like one part of it I feel like is when somebody like is the support or like just like a process, the running process of it, like here somebody's taking care of it, that perhaps helps.
Yeah.
So that's also good. But yeah, and then you have already started, so that's like already back in the grind again.
Yeah,
And
I'm good. Yeah.
do you graduate this spring of
No,
2026?
next year, 26.
Oh, 26. Okay, so not
26.
now. Okay, so it's
Yeah,
was it a three-year MBA
2
or
years. 2
2 year?
years.
Okay, yeah, you started in fall of
Last year.
2024. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Perfect. All right.
but by the way, I do have a couple of people who will
Mhm.
need this type of thing. I'm going to introduce you to them via LinkedIn,
Please.
and I'll just give
Yeah.
you a name. Okay, I'll ask them to.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
One is in consulting IT, the other one is
Mhm.
in petroleum energy.
Okay.
So, but I'll introduce, then you can take it from there.
Perfect. Yeah, thanks a lot, David. It was amazing working with you, David. In future, of course, if you need any
Sure.
help, support, one of the things that we are rolling out and we might be looking for test candidates as well. If you are interested, we'll be offering the service for complimentary to you. As we're looking to roll out like we help you land a job, but like here from there a lot of the work towards building a personal brand in terms of who you are as an authority figure
Mm.
in your particular domain. So a lot of like content around what can you present yourself, like that executive branding on LinkedIn, the posts, contents, and all of
Okay.
that. So we're
Okay.
trying to hash out a structure for that. I'll reach out to you. That ends up being formulated. And another thing that we are also trying to, once my schedule eases out a little bit, is I want to host like a little podcast style interviews where I want to hear your perspective in terms of being in a particular industry for so many years and like grown through the ranks. Like, what are your observations? What do you suggest to other people and all of that?
Yeah, sure. Anything I can to help others.
Yeah, that would be like, because like
Um,
insights like you, especially like with you, I would want to cover like that mindset side of the things
Sure.
because it's just such an important aspect of it. But yeah,
Sure.
it was again great working with you, great speaking with you tonight. Hope you have a beautiful rest of your evening, and yeah, well, let's
Thanks a
stay
lot.
connected.
You too. Stay connected.
Indeed.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye bye.